Hello, welcome back to Blender Switch LiveNoding. In this episode, I want to further explore these Caustics features in Blender 3.2 Alpha. So it's still Alpha, but as you can see, okay, I'm making some kind of art, and this is like I found this to be quite meditational. So I have this really strange abstract 3D objects, and underneath here, we have the beautiful caustics that's being rendered. Alright, so this guy is pretty simple. It's nothing special. This is just like curve that's turned into some kind of 3D mesh. I'll show you how to create this in a bit, and also how to set up the caustics. But I'm gonna show you actually quickly. This is Blender 3.1.2, and I have another different renderer. It's called LuxCore 2.61, and this is also still alpha. I need to run this by using Steam. Version that's outside Steam doesn't run LuxCore somehow. Anyway, this is LuxCore. I'm using CPU, and I'm also rendering the caustics. Okay, I just want to show you the difference. Okay, the caustic in this renderer is really kind of a little bit more beautiful, a little bit crazier, I think, but it's also kind of interesting, something that you can explore yourself. So if you ever want to make changes, okay, let me explain this first. Like I said, this guy is nothing, just a bunch of curve that has been drawn randomly. Okay, so curves gets into geometry nodes, and I simply use points to volume to mesh. I can control the radius, and I can just simply draw more curve. Okay, it's like a sausage, but I think this is one of the greatest feature of geometry nodes, when you set it up so that the curve is drawn on the surface. You can just draw and get some funky result. And also you still need to control the points to volume. So it's super random, but yeah, if you set this object's material as glass, you can have nice abstract caustics. So we are looking at the caustics itself. With this guy, let me think. Yeah, I'll show you how to set this up very quickly. So curve, point to volume, and there's a merge by distance. This is just to give it a little bit some variations. Dual mesh, and set material as glass. I will show you how I started with this randomness. I actually have like a cube here. I'm gonna delete everything. Oh, actually, before I do that, I'm just gonna create a new scenes, and I'm gonna set up the caustic once again. I will delete everything. I drop my objects here. This guy already have glass material, so if I render this using cycles, we have glass. Okay, so let's save this very quickly. Just random glass. So we're gonna be painting with glass, and the result is gonna be caustic. I'm gonna create a floor, call it floor, and floor needs some kind of material. And this guy over here is just the canvas. Okay, I'm gonna reset the position of this object. This guy is a canvas. Select this, go to edit mode using tab, delete everything, and we're gonna draw. With Blender 3.2 Alpha, we actually have curve pen. I'm not gonna use curve pen for now, just use draw. And we're gonna draw on the surface. And yeah, so we are drawing. Oh, by the way, okay, geometry nodes. I want to pipe this radius outside as a parameter here. So this is quite meditative, like I said, okay. And every time you draw a stroke, it's gonna be painted on top of the surface. We can increase the voxel count and change the length. Adaptivity is actually can be useful, and merge by distance. Merge by distance will keep these objects kind of under control in terms of mesh count. Something to keep in mind. You might want to increase this, but it's gonna merge like a really close points together. Okay, I think just something super random. Now that we have this random object, super random objects, we can hide the canvas. And we want to render this with caustics. Okay, currently it's just glass with nothing, no lighting except for the lighting from the environment. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna drop this. I'm gonna create light, area light. So this is what we get so far. Shift T if we want to direct it, and we can adjust the size. We want to have the caustics. I'll increase the power. So at the moment we don't have caustics. We don't have caustics yet, okay? We need to do a couple of things, remember? Turn on shadow caustics. And then for these objects that we lit using the light, we need to go to the objects, shading, let this guy cast shadow caustics, and then the floor reshift shadow caustics. And by doing that, you should have caustic in a bit. I believe that the spread of the beam actually control the caustics, so you're gonna get like more like a hotspot. I'm gonna reduce the beam. So let me try. Sometimes reducing the size of the light also give the caustic. Yeah, alright. Control the size here. Don't use the scale. So I'm gonna reset the scale of this light, and then control the size from here. Now we're starting to have like a hotspot. Look at the white color hotspot there. Okay, it's disappearing again. It's reappearing because it's doing calculations. If I turn this shadow caustics, we won't see the caustic. Okay, so that's the difference. But if you want to see something that's more clear, I'll save this random glass, switch to 3.1.2 with a LuxCore renderer. I'm gonna reopen random glass file, save this as LuxCore. Okay, we have area light. Let's see, switch this to LuxCore, render this. This is what we get by default, right? because we don't have the LuxCore material yet, I will switch on I will apply the glass material on these objects. The floor can have just matte material. You can also use Disney shader for LuxCore, and it's gonna be a little bit more apparent in a bit. So the lighting, okay, I'm gonna select the area light. There's this option called laser. Laser is gonna make the area light casting like a light that's like the sunlight, more like, but we get this weird circular area light. I don't know why, but it's maybe part of the setting, and then you need to turn on light tracing in order to get caustics. I think the caustics in LuxCore might be a little bit more beautiful than the cycles one. Something you want to keep in mind. And then change the power from artistic. I change it to power, and now we can see the caustic like kind of like exploding, and you can see the caustic. The caustic will have its effects on top of the original light, however, so you need to really consider a lot of things there. You can make the light smaller. Let's see if I reduce the size to 1 meter. Okay, that's too small. 5. Starting to see the caustics. Also on top of that we have this like a spotlight circle. We could actually just render out the caustic pass. So there's something called pass, like this guy over here. So we can paint and just render the caustics if we want to. Maybe something I can try, because I like the effects of caustics. But you can see, okay, this is the caustics being rendered using LuxCore. Okay, and LuxCore also have some kind of denoiser that will work in the viewports if you turn it on and adjust it. So with LuxCore, by default the viewport will render for 10 seconds, and then the denoiser will work on top of it. We're gonna see the result in a bit. Switch back to cycles. Cycles caustics is not as crazy as LuxCore, but you can at least see like the hotspot there. The white color there is gonna be the caustics. And you can also turn on the denoiser, and the denoiser in cycles actually works together with the caustics, so you're gonna get result kind of a lot faster somehow. So it's a little bit crazy, but I found that the caustic is really beautiful, right? It's always reacting to the light and the objects itself. Since we have the these random objects, I don't know, we're gonna get like quite wild looking caustics. You can of course just make like a glass, like a simple plane, displace it with noise, but I like to push this a little bit more. Okay, this is it's not grease pencil, it's a geometry nodes working with curve, and I found it's like a really cool feature in Blender. So you're drawing on top of the surface while it's like it's working like a glass. It's projecting the result on this guy. There's a better way to draw this type of abstract looking object. I mean, if you're using grease pencil, Grease pencil actually have a little bit more control, but at the moment with grease pencil, if you want to make it to work with geometry nodes, you need to have sphere chalk or other ways to do it, but this is still pretty cool, right? You have this crazy looking objects. We have the light, it's gonna do the caustic things for us. It's pretty random, but yeah, if this is like a like a gallery or something, we have light, like super strong light that's almost like a sunlight passing through the roof, and you can see this super bright caustics. Imagine you are like, if you're like small, like a just tiny visitor in the gallery, and you look at this, you know, like super bright, it's like feels quite alien. It's a, I'm pretty sure it could have been done in real life. Okay, back to this guy. I think the denoiser is a little bit too fast to react with the caustic, so I increased the halt time to 60 seconds. LuxCore is actually interesting render engine. Of course, it's another learning curve, but you can learn a lot with LuxCore. It's a LuxCore is not like Octane, slightly more or less. It has similar things, similar terminology, but it's also a little bit more like renderman. But it's making this caustic that's really quite beautiful. Again, you just need to turn on the light tracing. This is the default, and you have this area light that you can resize. But the control that I really like is this laser. Without the laser, you won't get the caustic. You won't get that sharp caustics. I think that's something to keep in mind. Or maybe you can just play around with the spread angle, similar to cycles. No, actually, slightly different. The renderer itself will produce like a beautiful render, but anyway, this laser will emit parallel light rays from this square, and then the result is this beautiful caustic. So you have two options there. By the way, the LuxCore is also is actually open source, I believe, so you don't need to pay, but you can always give donations to the developer. The light is super bright. Maybe we can turn off the exposure of sky. So now the sky is turned off, only area light. Area light still quite strong. Maybe reduce the strength, make it 50. I'm gonna leave this for a while. Okay, back to our cycles. Cycles also still rendering. But one thing about cycles and caustic, the effect is almost like real time. Okay, it's pretty amazing. If I turn off the denoise, oh, actually I just leave this on. Play around with this spread. I believe this affects the caustic itself. Power, make the power like 100, and also you have control with the color management with filmic. You can control the exposure a little bit. Anyway, just a random thing. I mean, if you just want the caustics Let's see. Increase the power, 500. Now this weird abstract art will emit like a really strong caustics. And I think Blender cycles also have a way to just render out the caustics. Maybe at some point. Anyhow, at any time, any point in time, we can always go to edit mode. Remember, this is still just a curve, and you can paint more. Controlling the radius, you can really see the effects. Oh yeah, by the way, it's still like a shadow caustic, so you're gonna get caustic where your object's casting the shadow. Just wait a few seconds. I mean, with the denoising, if the denoising is too blurry, just turn off the noise threshold, and it's gonna do the sampling, and it's gonna do the denoising at the very end after you finish the sampling. Yeah, crazy stuff. Look at the caustic with LuxCore here. It's gonna look pretty neat. Small size area light. Okay, you still get the spotlight. I kind of want to get rid of the spotlight and just get the caustics. It's looking almost like a fractal. Yeah, I'm gonna try to render just the caustics. Same deal with this guy. We just need to play around with it. So there you go. That's like a little bit technical, a little bit crazy with the caustic setups. It's not too bad. It's not so crazy technical. You just need to select the area light, turn on shadow caustics, and then objects. Let the object cast the shadow and let the floor receive the shadow. Be careful with these options. Okay, if you turn both, you don't get anything. Alright, so there you go. That's just like random thing. Hopefully you find this useful. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.